Welcome back.
Welcome back. Was
Wow,
that loud?
that was loud.
I don't have my headphones
It'll
on.
be all right. It was super loud. Welcome back to another episode of the Safeties Off Show presented by Kepler Creek Outdoors. Excuse me, cough break. Today we have on Buck and Jay from Dirty Duck Coffee. Great guys, great conversation. We get to talk about how their company started up and then kind of what they're passionate about, which, you know, happens to be the outdoors.
Happens to be a lot of the things we're passionate about.
That's exactly right. So it's fitting that our first ad read is Dirty Duck Coffee. Years ago, a passion and legacy was created over common obsession for the wild pursuit of waterfowl, and this evolved into a coffee and apparel company called Dirty Duck. I've replaced my coffee that I've been drinking for years now with Dirty Duck, and this is for sure the easiest ad read of all time because the coffee's awesome, the gear's great too. See the hat at the end of the table. Check them out. Use promo code KCO15 for 15% off your entire purchase. Now, next we have Dino Climbing.
Dino Climb.
Use code KCO15 at checkout when you purchase their pre-workout. It says it's a pre-workout for climbers, but what I find it to help me with is that mid-afternoon slump in between teaching the youth and then molding the youth at football practice. I have the Bigfoot Berry, and it's pretty dang good. Go check them out. Use code KCO15. Next,
what
we
do you
have
get for that? 15% off?
15% off. Next, we have TripTech. TripTech, we followed them forever. It's a 5-in-1 hunting multi-tool. It works as a punch. You can use it to unscrew choke tubes. Upland hunters can even use it to distinguish between mature or juvenile birds. It's an awesome tool. Got one right here. I basically use it as a fidget tool during our interview today, as you're just watching.
How many in one?
So what?
How many is it in one?
5-in-1.
6 in one.
Because it's also a fidget tool. Dang it, dude. They're going to love us.
Yep.
So, yeah, everybody go check them out. TripTech, TripTik. Everybody needs one on their lanyard. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Bro, I almost caught that one.
You got that heater on full blast. You got all the windows down, and you're just you're such a
So to start off, we've got Jay and Buck from Dirty Duck Coffee joining Jacob and I today, and we appreciate you guys coming on. So just to kind of start, to give everybody a base, can one of y'all give us like a brief background of how you guys started and what you guys are? Not everybody wants though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're just some buddies that grew up together that Jay took me duck hunting for the first time. And you know, we've told this story quite a bit and it's a neat story, but you know, we always made it a point. Jay took me when I was about like 16, 17, I think it was. We were sort of late. And I grew up hunting upland with my dad and turkeys and that kind of stuff. But Jay said, hey, you want to go duck hunting? I said, sure, I love hunting. And then I was just hooked on it. Jay's family had a sweet little place that they had these little cabins. They had a fishing lake, they had a duck marsh. And so we'd go out there and hang out, light a fire and, you know, grill meat and go duck hunting in the morning. And that was really my first taste of it. And I loved everything about it. Like just being out there, camping, hanging out, doing, you know, manly shit.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
I was just freaking hooked, you know? So yeah, his dad had, this little cabin, man. He had like 30 mounts on the wall or more. Like he was nuts. His dad was big hunter, and so there's bear rug skins and freaking moose heads, and I can't even remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after high school, him and I were, you know, didn't really know. I was a little bit lost. So we went to community college, and I think Jay went to the same community college, and
Yep.
so we hunted together, and we almost moved in the old, we call it, his dad
The
called it
doghouse.
doghouse. Yeah. So when he got in trouble, he had to go stay at the doghouse, and that was the hunt shack. And we almost became roommates out there. And then after the 1 year at junior college, wasted my life away. Jay went to Mizzou, and I went to Missouri Western, and I walked on the football team, and I ended up being about 30 miles from Mountain City, Missouri, where the Dirty Duck is now and where I hunt. and I figured out a way where I could, all through college, especially the last couple of years, um, I could hunt every single morning, go to class in the middle of the day, and then we were watching films for football at 2 o'clock, 2:30,
That's the dream.
practicing from 3:30 to 5:30. And I had to take a couple night classes to make it all work. But
That's the dream.
so, but Jay and I always made a point every year, even, he was living in St. Louis. We were going different directions. I moved to Texas, always made a point to hunt together at least once a year, and always, remained great friends. And I opened up the Dirty Duck Lodge, which is my personal man cave lodge on Main Street, and we have bands in there, and I live upstairs, and it's just purely for fun. It's not business at all. And had some friends coming up from Texas, and I said, I'm gonna make a couple hats just for like, hey, thanks for coming type of deal. Give it away to them. And one of them was like, you need to start selling these hats. And I was like, no one wants this stuff. And they're like, yeah, I had a stranger offer me $40 for the one on my head. Well, that's fun. So I just started messing around on Shopify in my spare time, just bored. When it's cold, you're stuck inside. And during the 2020 pandemic, had too much time on my hands. It was probably a Tuesday, getting hammered, nothing to do. And I said, Jay, I have this great idea. Let's start a coffee company. And then I explained it to him. I'm like, like all these people are coming out with this branded coffee. Obviously, there's some big ones, some small one that really taken on. And I really felt like I like branding the Dirty Duck, but I felt like it needed more of a tangible product to go with it. Not
Right.
just a hat. Like anybody can print a hat or shirt, something
Right.
like that. And I said, you know what? When I started hunting in college, I started drinking coffee because it was cold. It was early. We stayed up too late. Why don't we make coffee? And it gave us a creative outlet when the whole world was shut down, when I was having events canceled. I mean, I know there's people in constructions and other industries that just went wild, but my events, my main job is selling commercial sporting clay throwers to gun clubs, private ranches. I also help with putting on shoots, like fundraising events, and those were just getting canceled left and right during spring, like one of my busiest periods. So it gave me a way to stay creative and just turn into a complete piece of shit, I guess, sitting on the couch during
As did the rest of the world.
that the curve type of
That's
deal.
what my wife
So,
told me.
Yeah. Except we didn't, when we were sitting down on the couch doing absolutely nothing, we didn't think of a company. We just sat there. I mean, just
well,
absolutely.
I still got fat and sat there, but at least
At least you had a great idea.
yeah, I was flexing my brain muscle.
So the craziest thing to me about while I was creepishly listening to podcasts with Jay on them, the craziest thing to me is that when you came to him for this with this idea, Jay said he had never drank coffee before.
Yep.
But y'all are just such good friends. I mean, you're like, hey, I hate coffee. I never had it before. I never had it, but dude, sounds good. Where do I send the money?
Yeah, it really come back to the friendship. Buck and I had known each other for so long, and we've been through a lot of ups and downs through life together, and so there's very few people that I would, want to be in business with, just because it gets complicated, it gets messy, especially when you bring in like family and other things like that. And, there's very few personalities that I would want to go into business with. And we just have always clicked, and it's never been any pressure behind it. Like, we just have an expectation of our friendship, and it'll always be a friendship, no matter what. And that's kind of what I think you need if you're going into business with somebody. And so, I'd of course been up the Dirty Duck since it started. And Mountain City is as much of a place for me as it is for Buck, just from the history of being up there and seeing it from dirt floor nothing to the finished product that it is now, and just all the memories up there. And, coming back from St. Louis or wherever I was living at the time, and going up there to hunt, and moving back to Kansas City, getting up there even more. And so it's just just a part of the friendship that I was like, hey man, this sounds like something I think could go, and was honored to jump on board and be a part of it. And we took off, and, we don't do anything halfway. When we do something, we go all in. So it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, I've actually, so when I went to Little Rock, I picked up some coffee, and it's actually pretty dang good. I had right
Yeah,
now.
it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible at all. It's pretty dang good. I'm on, and I don't even like pecan pralines or coconut, but I am killing that bag currently at work. And
Yeah.
I've been saving you guys gave me some of the whiskey blend. I've been saving that for a rainy day. I want to have some
Yep.
buddies over one morning and be like, all right, let's crack this bad boy.
Let's tap this one.
Yeah,
right
show this off. Let's tap this bad boy and
Uncork it.
yeah, uncork it together, boys. After a long.
It's pretty good. It's right in line with our Missouri boat ride and our cinnamon teal. The two flavored ones, and when we're at these shows, people, we'll have like old men come up and they drink coffee black and
That's right.
coffee black, but it's not sweetened. It just has a little bit of flavor.
Yeah.
So it's still black coffee.
Oh, the old man at work. So like we have the old man at work, and he listens to this show, so I got to be careful about how I word this. His office,
man, break your head.
Yeah, the old man's office. Excuse me, the old man's office is next to mine.
What's the old man's name?
He's a very he's a manly old man. He's a good guy. And he lets me use his coffee pot graciously. So I'm like, you know what? I'll supply the coffee. And I go to telling him about, hey, now we got Dirty Duck coming in once a month. He's fired up about it. And so I put I'm blanking. It's the first flight or the last flight is the
First flight.
First flight.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry. And we drank that, and he was like, that's good stuff. Yeah. And then I bring the pecan and coconut up, and he's like, you sissy. Like,
What are you drinking? Frou.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting after me, but I think he secretly has been drinking it because today I made 8
Oh yeah,
cups,
he's
and
closet.
I drank like 4, and then there was nothing left. So I think he's a closet, coconut flavor guy. And then, so that was my question I had on my notes for Jay was, after you started tasting these coffees, and you're not that big of a coffee guy, what's your favorite flavor, and why is it the cinnamon teal?
Let me see. Oh man, I'd say my favorite's the Morningwood, the Brazil. It's so smooth, and it makes a great iced coffee in the afternoon. You let it cool off and just sit there in the pot, and you got some left. You throw it over ice. It's got a little bit of chocolate, undertones to it, and so I'd say that the Morningwood Brazil is my favorite. But I get a hankering for a different flavor every day. So that's what I love is I can go and pull up the closet and see what's in there. And I'm like, oh, what do I feel? I'm a little lighter today, darker today. My wife loves the dark, the Dark Dynasty. Duck Nasty is one guy used to call it. But yeah, so that's why I like. We got a kind of a variety, so you can kind of go down the lines of flavors and strengths and all that, kind of depending on what you feel like for the day.
Yeah, they're all good. We can go to a show, and depending on what we're brewing, that's what we're selling. Because if people taste it, they like it. And we typically lead with our 2 flavored coffees because we have a lot of women at this stuff too. And
Right.
And the flavored coffee is not a girly coffee. Like I said, it just has some flavor, but it's still a medium roast. And but yeah, the Morningwood, the High Velocity, those are probably our top 4. And then you got the French roast is great, the dark's great, the Colombian. We got a Costa Rica breakfast blend, and it doesn't matter what you put in the coffee pot. I don't think any of them are any better than the next one.
Yeah.
So people always ask me, what's your favorite? I'm like, the next bag. And I just grab one, at my house. So,
yeah. With the branding on them is next level.
Yeah, the branding is great. So where did it's kind of a stupid question, but like, what's the Dirty Duck mean? Like, what's the meaning behind that?
Well, I hunted in Mountain City, Missouri, up there, an hour north of Kansas City.
Right.
And it's a small town, a lot of agriculture. Missouri River goes through there. They got the hills, they got the river bottoms, they have
8-man football.
Yeah, 8-man football. They got the Squaw Creek National Wildlife Refuge. So they'll hold 200,000 mallards and a gazillion snow geese at
Yeah.
any, certain time. So, and it's a really historic area too. Like there's you talk to the old timers and Ted Williams, multiple Chiefs players, like big names have came there and hunted, and it has some history, and I wish it was a little bit more documented. But they also have the Waterfowlers Hall of Fame there at the community building,
Really?
and it's mostly for for guys that have hunted there all their lives and try to contribute to the sport, and they all have these these cases in the Hall of Fame where they have their old calls or maybe their old gun photos and that kind of stuff. So it's an area that has some history. And so yeah, when I started hunting up there, I always thought, man, it'd be cool to get like a little log cabin out in the woods, away from everybody. And one of my buddies called me and said, hey, I got a building for rent on Main Street downtown, and it's on the corner, and it was an old storefront building built in 1880s or something, and they turned it into an apartment. And so I paid like $400 for like duck season to stay there.
Jeez.
And we'd move in, and no one had been in there the whole entire year. So it's been closed up, and I'm sure the roof was leaking upstairs.
Mhm.
Water was running underneath it, and so it smelled musty as hell. It was like smelled like black mold or whatever.
It was
So we'd
rough.
go in there, we'd air it out, we'd cook bacon, we'd light candles, and after like 2 days, it smelled just fine, But so I named it, just joking around. I'm like, the Musty Duck. That's what we're going to call it. And so it was right on the corner in town. It was 2 doors down from the bar, like across the street and a half a block away from the grocery store. And right next to the grocery store was a gas station that had pizza and liquor and beer and everything you needed. And I was like,
Prime location.
man, being downtown in a small town, this is cool. We just park, walk down to the bar. Terry's place, she has lunch every day. It's like $6 a plate with a tea, cash only. And today's
Cool
spaghetti,
boy Saturdays.
that's all you got. Yeah. So it was like, this is what she's fixing. If you don't like it, you can leave. And then in the evening, we'd go there, and it's, we're drinking Busch Light or whatever in the bottles. And they had the old original big buck hunter in the corner there.
Yeah.
And I would drink Busch Light and chew Copenhagen and put every dollar and quarter I had into that damn machine, and having so much fun. And then the bar would close, and there's some nights where half the, it'd be about 20 of the locals would come back to the Musty Duck, and we're freaking drinking and throwing bottle rockets into the street and doing all kinds of
Yes.
back when now we're old and stupid. Back then we were
Yeah, this just sounds kind of like a frat house on Main Street.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's all kinds. I could probably write a book, things that happened there. So, but, yeah. So, anyways, I was the Musty Duck, and then I had this idea in my head, like, man, this is kind of cool. And 2 doors down to the north, there's a building that was foreclosed. The bank owned it. It was for sale, and I ended up buying it in 2007, and got a hell of a deal on it. At the time, it was a shitload of money to me. I just graduated college. And my dad's buddy was like, what'd you pay for this thing? And I told him, he's like, oh shit, that's nothing. I'm like, it is. Pot the piss in. That's a lot of money. But it was a, building built in 1887, has a lot of history. It was a bar back in the 70s and 80s, and a lot of good times. Like all the old timers come by, and they're like, what are you doing here? I drink a lot of beer in this place. And they tell stories about so-and-so rode a horse through the back door, out the front door onto Main Street naked, or, stuff like
Jesus.
crazy.
This town, my God.
Reminds me of home.
Yeah, what is the life expectancy in Mound City?
It's not good.
It can't be real
That's
hot.
like the duck hunters that come to the Dirty Duck. So
Yeah. I mean,
but we, my dad and brother and I and people from town that we became friends with, everybody pitched in. We'd work weekends and did a complete demo on the downstairs down to, we had to level the floor with supports underneath it. We're tearing out 3 or 4 layers of hardwood floor, some original flooring, square nails, a couple different ceilings. I took all the plaster off the brick. There's 8 layers of antique wallpaper on top of the plaster, the original plaster. And so I took it all down to brick. And at the time, I was traveling down to Texas before I moved. And so I just started bringing signs and flags and stuff back. And so people see it online and they're like, wait a minute, I'm confused. Is this in Texas or Missouri?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of a long story.
Yeah. It's
So,
kind of, I mean, it is a long story, but it's an incredibly interesting one. And if you can get people, if you can get people bought into that, you know, like, hey, we're just a bunch of just some buddies that ventured off in COVID and this and that, you know, and you get to talking about how you basically opened up a frat house on Main Street. I mean, you know, people can buy into that kind of stuff.
Now you're making it seem like Will Ferrell in Old School.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We're going
no.
streaking.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
now, on
We're
the
gonna go
last
street
podcast, I
quad.
called Jay on without me. He did call me the Godfather.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Buck's the Godfather. Like, how did this all go? Well, Buck's kind of the Godfather of this whole thing. You know, I got Buck started duck hunting, and then he got revenge by getting me drinking beer and whiskey. And so I don't know who's even.
Yeah, at the time when we are at the doghouse back in the good old days, I like drinking my beers and such. And Jay didn't drink, and it was like, cool, no problem. You know, I'm gonna have a couple beers. You know, when you're 17 years old, I'm like, I'm not judging him. He's not judging me. We're just doing our thing and duck hunting. And then eventually, you know, when he was in college, or I don't know when, but I got him drinking Crown and beer and everything else, and ruined his life. And then,
And then you got him drinking coffee. You're like, I got
he
to
ruined
do
my
that.
life by making me go duck hunting. Now I'm freaking broke.
Yeah.
Man, that's 100% true. Duck hunting is the most addictive. It's the most addictive sport by far.
Yeah,
I think the most addictive hunt. You know, we live in here in Louisiana, sportsman's paradise. I mean, I love Louisiana. I'm never leaving. But I don't know about a sportsman's paradise. Like, we basically can dabble in all of it. Like, we can go shoot doves this weekend at dove opener, and like I'll go whitetail, you know, deer hunting. And then every once in a while you get a call from a buddy and he's like, hey man, we were scouting on the river and, you know, we jumped up 100, let's go, you know, or something like that. It's nothing like what you're talking about in Mound City. And I think we talked about that. Like, you go to Kansas and whatnot, and you see all these ducks and you see all these pictures and yada, yada, yada. That gets you hooked big time.
Oh, yeah.
The first time they pass and they just light feet up and you just freaking mollywop them, gets you going.
Yeah.
I did take so I had an old timer from Mound City. I call him the Mound City Duck Commander. He passed away last year. His name was Frank Morris, but he was like the Phil Robertson of Mound City. He had a great big beard. And he said, come on, we're going duck hunting. And we laid out in a ditch and we had floater decoys in a dry cornfield. And we propped them up so they'd sit upright.
Yeah.
And I was still in college. So this is probably like, you know, in the early 2000s, not to date myself. I was, you know, becoming a doctor probably.
Yeah.
But no, we were laying in the ditch and we had one spinner out, and we just knew that the ducks were flying west out of the refuge that day. And we're having like 200-300 ducks just pitch and come down and cover us up. And I was like, what the hell is this all about?
Yeah. And then you're just wanting to recreate that moment for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you're willing to spend however much money and make your wife however mad.
Yep.
To have that moment.
And then a couple of years later, I took Jay out to a field, and he probably thought I was nuts, but we were using
skewing overs.
Yeah, we were using our blind bags as like pillows, and then we just cover ourselves with corn stalk. It was before, like, I don't even know if layout blinds were invented.
I don't think nobody was hunting out layout blinds. I was like, we're gonna go in a dry cornfield. What the?
Well, that's the thing about duck hunting too, is like the technology just keeps advancing so crazy.
Yep.
And so crazy fast. And it's getting like way easier. Like, you're talking about spinners. I mean, no offense, I can only imagine what a spinner looked like in early 2000s.
Right? Yeah, the only problem is, you know, the sport's really grown in popularity.
Right.
the pressure's tough.
Competitive.
Finding a place to hunt's tough. And these birds are seeing this stuff all the way from Canada to, I mean, we're just in Missouri. I can't even imagine, the southern states. If you don't have the weather helping you out, it's not good.
Oh, you're screwed. That's what we were talking about maybe on last podcast. I can't remember. Mojo Outdoors, they make the spinners. They're located in Monroe, Louisiana as well. Same as Duck Dynasty. Duck Dynasty makes all the calls, and then they make the decoys, the spinners. And if you hunt on Interstate 20, on I-20, you probably don't even use a Mojo. You may early season, like what you're talking about, but late season, you're not gonna kill a duck if you have a Mojo in your spread, because they've seen, like you said, they're way too smart.
Yep.
And then you're only gonna see 20 ducks anyways, so
you get better luck painting a 2-liter bottle.
Yeah, we have done that. That's back in the gap when I was in high school. I mean, it wasn't as competitive then. I was in high school in the early 2000s.
Sure.
2009, 10.
A little bit younger than you. That's fine.
Yeah, we're close. And I remember spray painting 2-liter bottles black.
Yeah.
Because we were going to go kill some blackjacks on the lake. Somebody called and said, "Hey, there's a bunch of them out here," and they're morons. That was fun. But now, I mean, you've got people buying blackjack decoys, ring neck decoys, and I don't know. Everybody's got the nice. The nice technology is crazy. It's just incredibly competitive.
Still addicting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I hunted with a buddy in college. You're talking about spray painting bottles. Buddy in college, I went to his place, and it was an old time up in that area where we hunt around Mound City, and his grandfather had started it, with a group of guys, and his dad, it was still kind of like in a family trust. And we're getting ready to go hunting one time, and they had all these buckets full of Pennzoil motor oil bottles, the yellow quart bottles like you'd put in your freaking car. They're cut in half and had magic markers drawn on them. And I said,
really?
What the heck? And then there's all kinds of strings and weights in there and stuff. And I said, what the heck is that? And he's like, oh, my dad used to throw those out to make the ducks think there was corn floating in the water. Here's the corn.
We got a buddy who asks that all the time. My uncle is the captain game warden of Northwest Louisiana.
Yeah.
I've said that on the show before. So we really can't do any of that crazy crap. But I have a buddy who's like, let's just spray paint a bunch of rocks yellow and throw them at the bottom. Like, what are they going to do? Get on to us for throwing rocks in the water? I'm like, yeah, they probably would.
It's not a bad idea.
I mean, technically, it's not baiting.
Technically, it's not. Now you got me thinking about it. I don't know what they'd get me on. Littering. They'd make up something.
Littering rocks?
And littering
and smoking the ducks.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It might be worth it. Yeah. Might actually be worth it. I don't know.
Right,
now I'm kind of thinking about it.
I'm going to get a can of yellow spray paint.
Yeah, we've done some crazy things, but that would be incriminating for sure.
If Uncle Richie's listening, we didn't do it.
No, we didn't do it. I did want to ask you guys. So we are working with you all now, or working for you all now. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, our Dirty Duck hat is for people that we reference this hat every single time. We're like, yeah, at the end of the table, check out the hat. But really, this hat doubles as it covers up our outlet.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a receptacle cover.
So it's a receptacle cover because I broke the real one. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to put that extra hat right there. And there she goes. So you can use these things for anyways. Or anything.
We're sold out of that particular hat right now, and we're trying to get stock, and now we know why.
Yeah. We use it as this one as a receptacle cover because it was the nicest. It was the biggest. It kind of went with it. Jacob's usually wearing his. He got a different one on today. But I will sell this one since they are out. I will sell this one for $100 to anybody.
Someone will probably buy it
for $100.
Yeah, we can't get them in stock.
This is a sweet hat.
It's a sick hat.
When we went to Little Rock, Buck hooked us up with our hats, and I knew which one I wanted, so I grabbed that one, and then I had to get a couple for these guys. This is actually one of our buddies that he needs to come pick up, Justin. But anyways, there was only like 2 of these left. I was like, got it. Like I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to get the one that has the least amount, but they're sweet, man. They're absolutely sweet. But I wanted to ask, you're now like partnering with a lot of big time outdoor podcasts, Blind Chatter, some of the bigger ones, like the one with Andy Shaver on it. Uh, as a brand, and I know you guys have full time jobs. So what all, like when you reach out to companies like that, uh, kind of, what are you looking for? And then also, like, what do you feel like the content that's most like useful for you? Like, obviously you're on every podcast we have. Are you guys looking to get out there and film some hunts, or, you want to show that side of you, or you want to just basically say, hey, we're a coffee company, stuff like that?
No, I mean, we the very first one we sponsored was the Looking Glass Duck Club podcast, which are local boys to where we hunt. And they just started out about the same time we did the coffee thing.
Right.
Logan Pyatt and Rebel Heron, and they're hilarious. It's definitely not PG rated, but they're hilarious. And Logan's good friends with Jeff Stanfield. And Logan and I were having a drink at the Dirty Duck one day, and he's like, you know what? If you really want to like get in front of some people, you need to call Jeff. And just it was kind of like one of them recommendations. I wasn't familiar with their podcast at the time, just because
Right.
everything was so new, and we just kind of dove off with them. And it's been a couple of years now, and we're really starting to reap the benefits of sort of sticking with them and then sticking with us, the partnership.
Right.
Right now, everything seems to just be happening like really organically. It's like, like with you guys, and it just people approach us or we meet somebody. And, the great thing about this duck hunting industry, it seems like everybody is just so willing to support and help each other. And so that's really how we're benefiting within the industry. It's just, we want to help you guys as much as you guys want to help us, and all the way around. You go to all these big shows, the Delta, the Squad Fest, all these ducks, and it's just like that way. Like the whole entire show, like almost all the vendors, they're just there to support each other, and do business. So
Yeah, that is nuts. And we were talking about off camera about Ramsey Russell, who is the Get Ducks guy. Like everyone, even he's one of the biggest names in duck hunting, you could argue, especially on social media at least. And they're also receptive and just are willing to help out. I mean, guys like me and Jacob, who are just like our brand per se is being average. Like we're average and we're morons. So come and watch us hunt, or come and talk hunting with us and laugh at how dumb we are, basically. So, like that's our take. And for people like him who legitimately are professional duck hunters, or guys like you who, have professional coffee makers and whatnot to support small guys, or even just to give us the time of day, I would venture to say that in no other niche or hobby, it is like that. It's 100% like that. So, I mean, for you guys to even like, support smaller podcasts and whatnot says a lot about you guys. And then that's who, when I go to buy things, that's who I look for. Like hand up, I have some Sitka stuff. All right, Jacob, I feel your eyes. I feel his eyes cutting through me right now. I have a Sitka backpack. All right.
Just a backpack.
Up. Yeah. But what I really like doing is, obviously shopping local or just checking out these smaller brands, because, you want to support those local guys and whatnot. So, and that's what's fun. And rather than going to the big name, to the big corporations and whatnot. And then one thing I haven't talked to you guys about, but I'll ask you, one thing that I do know about your company is that a portion of it you're wanting to give to like the conservation of duck hunting. You're wanting to give back to duck hunting. Could you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, for us, we wouldn't be here if there weren't pioneers in the industry, especially on the conservation side. So whether that's Delta, whether that's, Ducks Unlimited, who's been around forever doing it. And then also just down to the local organizations that help fuel those organizations. You got local volunteers, and then you just got other charities and things like that that use the outdoors to help out their local communities. We always want to give back as much as we can. And so whether that's helping them with a fundraiser, whether that's offering our products for one of their banquets, and that's kind of what we've been conversating with and getting set up with Ducks Unlimited and Delta, so that we can help any branch across the country. We just want to do our part, because if we don't, we just know the alternative. There's a lot of people out there that would rather hunting not exist, because
Absolutely.
they view it whatever they want to view it through their lens of it, hurting animals or whatever it is. But if you look at the sport of, either whether it's waterfowl hunting or whether it's deer hunting, whether it's upland game hunting, the heart and the intent is all of us to make this place a better place than we left it. And so we're doing a lot of things to give back. And so, it's pretty easy for us to include that in our, I guess our mission statement. And then, on the other side, we all had somebody that took us, duck hunting. So I remember, it was my stepdad and his hunting partner, Mr. Bierman. If those guys hadn't gotten, took me out when I was 5 and introduced me to duck hunting, then we wouldn't be sitting here. I mean, really, because I would have taken buck hunting and, the dirty duck wouldn't exist. And then this brand wouldn't exist, on down the line. And I think we all probably had somebody who said, hey, why don't you come out and duck hunt with me? Why don't you come out and shoot for the first time, whatever it may be that got you outdoors. And so we just love the fact that maybe, we're that opportunity for that kid to say, duck hunting's cool, even if it's wearing one of our hats and they think it's cool to have a duck pooping on their hat. And that's what connects them to the outdoors. Just because we see, I mean, I got, Buck and I both have kids. I've got 3 girls, he's got 2 girls. And the last thing we want is for them to just be a slave to that, that device. So getting outside, enjoying the outdoors, being out there together. Because I think we all would say the best part about duck hunting is the stories. Sitting around a duck blind, solving all the world's problems, talking about whatever's going on in life, whether good, bad, or otherwise. I think that's what we remember the most. And I think as you get older, as you guys will experience here in a couple of years, it's not always about, man, I limit it out every time. I can give 2 shits if I limit out when I go hunting. If we get on them, great. If we don't, you know what? We probably created a memory in some regard. So being able to kind of help preserve that and give that back to the next generation, that's something that we want to be about.
Absolutely. And that's our thing too, is that, I joke, but I am being serious. We're incredibly average outdoorsmen, and I am going to make a mistake. I'm going to forget something. I'm going to drop something. I'm going to lose something or whatever. But just like you said, like I teach hunter ed, and one of the things you tell the kids is you're going to go through every stage of hunting. You're going to go through, I just want to shoot something, anything, don't care, tweet bird,
Right.
duck, whatever. Then there's the trophy stage, and then there's the sportsman stage, like you want to or whatever. And then there's the last one where you're like, I just want to get out there and be outdoors and enjoy, friends and family and just being outside. And that's one thing that I hope that I'm hopefully after this going to stay up tonight and edit a new YouTube video of me going to get a new bow at a shop in Bastrop, Louisiana. And the goal of that video is I just want to show how easy it is. Like, you don't walk into somewhere and they're like, oh, you're a new hunter, get out. Like, you get out. Like, it's an incredibly welcoming industry.
Absolutely. Yep.
You very rarely, and you guys have a huge following, like, there's going to be those guys that are like, hey, you kill ducks, you suck, like you're a moron, you can just go get this or
Right.
be a vegetarian, yada, yada, yada. But for every one of those, there's like 10 good guys.
Yep.
They're like, come hunting with me. Like, come on. Like, you can shoot, I'll film, or whatever. I'll show you where my spot's at. And again,
one of our very first conversations, Jay and I were like, if we do this and it becomes successful, I'm like, we are like giving back. We're going to use, even if we don't have anything, we're going to use it to give back to the kids. And that's what really gets me. Like Jay said, we always had somebody take us, start us, grandpa, dad, whoever it was. Even, I hunted for 12 years with a complete stranger who never knew me and took me under his wing, taught me how to call. And, he's like part of the family to me. And so anytime I can give back to kids, we're at Game Fair last weekend, and these 2 like 5 or 6 year old kids walked up with their families and they're looking at hats. And of course their dad was like, no, come on, we ain't gonna, we're not spending money on that, and I just walked out and I grabbed 2 of the small little camo hats with the duck on them and gave it to them. And they're like, oh,
yeah.
they're like, that's the one I wanted.
Yeah.
And for me, that's really special because I can remember the first time I went to Walmart when I was about that age with my dad, and I picked out this old school duck hunting hat with a mallard on it, which I still have it. And that was like the first hat I ever picked out myself at Walmart, and it had a duck on it. And it's funny how these things come full circle, but to me, it's about the nostalgia and the memories and passing on to another generation that really gets me.
Yeah, I
So,
was my son's a huge mountain man.
Yeah.
Loves watching
Yeah.
mountain men, and he's
uh,
he's always telling me the whole story of the Jake, maybe I don't know, the guy with the dogs, and he's Trip Man and all his dogs' names and all that, and he's like really into, I guess, curious about hunting, and wants to go, always wants to play it, always wants to grab his toy shotgun and go duck hunting and mountain lion hunting and stuff like that. And a couple days ago, I was thinking, man, there's kids who probably watch this show that probably feel the same way he does, but doesn't have somebody to take them hunting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like my
Yeah.
son is fortunate enough that I will
Yeah, you'll one day take
one
them.
day take him
Yeah.
hunting. He's only 4, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kids out there that won't get the opportunity because they don't have somebody to take them, and then when they get a little older, they'll start YouTubing it and whatever like that, and they'll
And they're gonna see us, and they're gonna be like, "These morons can do it. Anybody can do it.
absolutely.
These two freaking idiots can do it. Anybody can do it."
I thought you're supposed to kill things.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to kill time. That's basically what it comes to.
yep.
But
We're real good at that.
well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on. Jay, we appreciate you sponsoring our show. It's been a huge help. Just being able to tag you guys and to say, hey, Dirty Duck Coffee, and you guys kind of backing us in a way, reposting us, much appreciated.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're very welcome, man. It's
Yep.
it's all about helping everybody out. There's what I love is, for us, it's not an ego thing. Like, we don't have to be the biggest, the baddest, and all that. And so anything we can ever do to help anybody, just reach out, and if we can make it happen, we'll make it happen. And we want to always give it back.
Heard that. We for sure will. You shouldn't have said that. Really appreciate Buck and Jay coming on, talking Dirty Duck Coffee.
Talking dirty duck to us.
Talking Dirty Duck to us. We had him on for a long time before the show and after the show. I kind of feel bad. But that's when, like, the best conversation happens. I hate that I'm not going to post the pre-show and the post-show talks. Some of it got kind of personal.
Yeah, maybe we do like behind the scenes one day.
Ooh, we make
Like
people pay like
uncut?
$5 for it.
Uncut.
Uncut Kepler.
Ooh.
God, we have such great ideas.
Could
Imagine not having great ideas like us.
be like
Freaking nuts.
Only Hunters.
Okay, stop. Only
Where you can
hunters,
find our
uncut hunting and just talking and this and that.
but you got to pay us $10
Yeah,
a
you gotta
month.
pay at onlyhunters.com.
Onlyhunters.com.
Ow. Okay, anyways, moving on. Leaky Waders of the Week. We do it every week where we talk about something that basically sucked from the week before. Mine's great. Mine's probably the best.
It's typical.
It is 100% typical. So if you know Travis, if you've watched any of our content before and you've seen Travis in any of it, Travis is wild.
The
He's-
most monotoned wild dude I've ever
Oh,
met.
absolutely. Monotone and wild. Those are two great words to describe Travis. So this past weekend we went to Simmons Sporting Goods. We're going to have a great video about that coming up here shortly, hopefully this week. We went to Simmons. I got a new bow. We're going to be talking with the guys from the archery department. And you just never know who you're going to see, dressed to impress. You never know who you're going to see. So we meet Travis at a gas station to pick him up. Travis is wearing Crocs. Not bad.
Depends on who you ask. But
Exactly. Not
if you ask
bad.
me, not bad.
Yeah. Ask my wife, you're a moron. So Crocs, socks, 2 different socks.
Yes.
One like above the ankle Puma, and then one below the ankle like Fruit of the Loom.
With the little gray sides on it.
Little gray sides on it. Totally different. Some basketball shorts, 100% he got in college. So we're talking at least 10-year-old basketball shorts. A T-shirt some company gave him. And he looked like he just woke up. Like
His hair was messed up.
Hair was all messed up and everything. And I felt like a jerk. But I thought he was joking. I was like, Travis, you're joking. He's like, oh, what? It's like, you can't come looking like that, man. You got to have something. So he runs back to his house, changes, comes back. That's not even my leaky waiter. My leaky waiter is that
Well, it put us 40 minutes.
it put us
behind.
40 minutes behind, and it made us late for his little shindig he had at night.
We had plans to go eat lunch.
Yeah, eat lunch, go work on some land.
But him being
Travis
made us 40 minutes late, which put us further back in line when we got to Simmons,
Yep.
which was fine
which is fine
because we
yeah.
got to walk around and
Yeah.
look at all the cool stuff.
But
and
in the end, it made us late for his shindig with his girlfriend. Now his girlfriend hates us, so he's never
he
going to get
didn't
to hang out
explain
again.
that.
Yeah,
He didn't tell us till
he
we
didn't
got.
explain that. Yeah,
He didn't tell us until we got to Farmville.
yeah, Farmville. Yeah, like it was like after lunch. He was like, "Oh, by the way, I got to be back by 7." We're like, "What?"
It's like 3:30.
Yeah, we just been taking our time all day, been hanging out. You
It's like-
tell us that now?
It's like 3:30. We still got another. At that point, we probably had another. Let's say an hour to get
Yeah.
to the property. That puts us at 4:30. What was an hour and a half from there back home?
Yeah,
So we had an hour
to do what we needed to
to
do.
put boots on the ground
Boots on the ground. But let's be honest.
in Bernice
How often do you use your buddies as the fall guy with your wife?
all the time. But I use my buddy like. Well, I didn't drive, so
Yeah, so you're not throwing him under the bus completely.
right.
You're not like, he's keeping me out. It's his fault. I'm saying, let's go.
No, I usually make up an excuse of why you're running late, which in turn made me late, and I'm so sorry.
Right. Yeah, you're way much better at it.
I've been doing this for 9 years.
Yeah.
This marriage thing,
This marriage thing. Golly, you're about to be a pro at it.
about to hit my higher tenure,
Yeah. That's wild. You're a veteran.
about to get that veteran salary.
So
which
that was
includes-
kind of both of our leaky waiter, but you said you got another one.
Oh yeah, I mean, having to leave early. Not that I was.
Super fired up about walking through the woods
And,
all day.
and look, it turns out to be something
yeah.
because if you
Yeah.
if you listen to the last podcast, my leaky waiter was we'd went scouting / try
Yeah.
to shoot some hogs.
Yeah, and you got
Got
red
into the
bugs
red bugs.
everywhere. Yeah.
So this time, Tyler texted us the night before. Mind you, I'm out till like 11:30 on Friday nights.
Sick brag.
And so I'm like, why? He texts us, bring boots and pants because we're going to go walk around.
I was
little-
looking out for you.
Yeah, he's like, it's a little overgrown, yada, yada. Don't want you getting in the red bugs again.
Again.
Well, so last time I was wearing shorts and Crocs with no socks.
Not ideal.
Well, I sprayed bug spray on my ankles and stuff. Didn't have one bite on my legs.
Right.
So I got home late. My wife was already in bed. I wasn't going to push my luck. So I slept on the couch and I grabbed some sweatpants out of the laundry room. And that's what I was going to wear, which I was like, I just need something to kind of cover up my legs.
Yeah.
I doused bug spray on my ankles and stuff like that because that was, when you wear sweatpants, it's kind of like you get a little breeze underneath.
Yeah.
It's the vent.
Jeez.
It's the vent,
Yeah.
down there. So I sprayed up, my ankles and the bottom parts of my leg. I mean, it was dripping off. So I was like, we're good.
Yeah.
This dude takes us through a briar patch twice.
Not me. Travis.
Oh, it was Travis.
Yeah. But continue.
I mean, this isn't
No, it's a Bash Travis segment at this
Bash
point.
Travis. We'll think of an alliteration there
Yeah.
that
No.
rolls off the tongue a little
Right.
better. But so Travis has the HuntWise app open.
Right.
And he's looking at, we know there's a pond somewhere on there, so he's okay. I think it's over here, and we're walking. Well, there was 3 trails that kind of head that direction. We hit the first trail. Travis goes, I think it's up here. We got to go up this. I think this is a trail. It looks like a trail from the satellite images. We get about I was going to say 100 yards, 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet.
And it turns into a briar patch. We walk
Right.
that for another 200 feet
Right.
before Travis goes, I think the third trail looks like it goes straight to it. We'll just go that way. So we walk back out the briar patch, and I'm wearing sweatpants, not thicky boys,
Yeah.
thin-ish joggers. We hit the third trail. We walked, I don't know. He had the app open. I didn't. Felt like 6 miles through a briar patch. Could have been 200 feet, 300 feet. So I'm tore up. Like it's scratching my clothes. You know when you like it pulls one string,
Yeah,
it like
ruins
leaves
the
that
whole
line
shirt.
there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's all. Everything I was wearing was like that. And I'm getting poked in the hands. It's just, I mean, these briars are just jumping up and just literally latching onto you. Like,
Oh, yeah. They're a special breed.
but then Tyler decides he's going to walk back and he goes down the second trail.
I said, yeah, I think the other one's more open. Y'all should come with me. No, y'all go down the other one.
We'd already walked a little bit in. And I didn't
Right.
want to walk back out.
Yeah.
I thought I was like,
then-
well, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Listening to Travis.
Then I go down the second trail, and it's like walking down a road. It's legitimately a road.
But so that's not the leaky waiter. That's just laying the groundwork. So we're going through these thick briars. I'm getting cut up, kind of high grass. Wake up the next morning. My ankles are all bit up. The one place I put a lot of bug spray.
They persevered. They persevered.
I think it was so hot it just like dripped the sweated off.
Oh,
and it just,
probably. That is quite. I mean, quite. I used the word quite. I almost used it. It is miserable. I feel bad. I feel
It's
like
a
it's
bit-
my
it's a
fault
bit of a
2
mess.
times in a row. This is a bit of a mess. Yeah, I feel like it's my fault 2
Dude.
times in a row.
I don't know if somebody's got
Some home remedy of how to
homemade
get rid of it.
remedies?
Yeah, for real.
get rid of them or repel them or shoot anything.
Because the off ain't working.
The off worked the first time, but it wasn't as hot that day.
Yeah,
We were in the shade.
yeah,
We weren't walking around a whole lot.
yeah. I can't wait to talk more about that land that we've now got access to, and we're gonna get to hunt and check out. But that'll be another podcast, another YouTube video.
It's gonna be fun.
gonna be
I
fun.
think the journey of
Learning it is fun.
learning
together.
it, clearing trails. I think,
It's character building.
yeah, I think it, and I'll bring real pants next time.
Yeah. Bring
That'll
your
be-
real pants. Bring your real
Put
pants.
my big boy pants on.
It's a mess. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Great podcast today. I felt like another good one. Appreciate the guys from Dirty Duck. Appreciate all our sponsors. Without them, we legitimately could not talk our wives into letting us do this, but because of them, we do.
We have fun.
Yeah, and we have a great time. It's a good time. So make sure you subscribe, like, comment, tell us how much you love us, and tell us how cute Jacob is. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, listen to it on Apple Podcasts, listen to it on Spotify, follow us on Facebook, join the Facebook group, do it all, text us, whatever. We appreciate you guys listening. It means a lot. Have a great week. Anything, Jacob? Jacob's just ready to go to sleep.
I'm so tired.
Go to church.